2. Information integrity and data quality. The importance of data quality in healthcare cannot be overstated or overstressed. Every piece of information from the health record is vital to patient care. It is critical that all information is timely, accurate, and complete. Most health records are documented with the best information available at the time by healthcare providers and personnel who are trained on how to appropriately document within health records and to use electronic health records and databases accordingly. However, errors can still be made when documenting, computers problem can transpire, or other data mishaps can occur. Because of the possibility of errors related to data, the quality of information must be a priority in healthcare. Data that populate the EHR come from many sources. Data sources can be categorized into primary and secondary data sources. Primary data sources come directly from the original source. The health record is considered to be a primary source of data, as the physicians and other healthcare providers document the treatments, observations, and care provided. The highest quality of data will always come from the primary source. Secondary data sources are derived from the primary sources, such as the health record. Secondary data sources include indices, registries, and other databases. Secondary data are typically used to conduct research, address population health issues, and for administrative purposes such as monitoring for possible fraud. Screen design is an important part of data quality as it influences data capture. Poor screen design can confuse users if instructions are not provided, if the data fields are not in logical order, and if users are entering data in different ways. For one example, users might enter data in different ways in response to the data element state. They could enter the full state name, for example, Georgia, or the abbreviation for Georgia, GA. This variance would make data retrieval and analysis difficult. Data capture is the process of recording healthcare-related data in a health record system or clinical database. Poor data capture results in not only poor quality of care, but also poor business decisions. The adage, garbage in, garbage out, or GIGO, is applicable to the documentation of healthcare data. There are a number of ways that data are captured to help prevent the garbage. These direct data entry, template-based data entry, speech recognition, and natural language processing. Direct data entry includes a number of manual data entry methods such as keyboard, mouse, or other devices for entering data into the computer. Many vendors use hotspots throughout their software applications to make the data fields as user-friendly as possible. A hotspot is a type of help message that is triggered when the cursor is placed on top of a data field. For example, the cursor changes to another symbol such as a hand, which indicates another level of choices from which the user can select. The help message displayed by the hotspot is specific for that data field. Unstructured data fields use data elements that allow for free text entry, which means that the user can type in any data that she chooses. Unstructured data complicates data retrieval and analysis, so structured data are preferred. Text box fields allow the user to type free text into the field, so they are not limited to allow choices. The data dictionary can limit the types of characters allowed, such as A through Z or 0 through 9, as well as the number of characters. The text box is considered to be unstructured data. Structured data fields guide the user during the data entry process, limiting what a user can enter into the field. A number of different types of structured data fields can be used, including radio buttons, drop-down menus, drop-down boxes, a checkbox, and more. These have proven to be an effective and efficient method for capturing data, thus improving productivity. Drop-down menus appear with several choices. The choices can be controlled by the healthcare facility based on its need. Once selected, the data field is automatically populated with the user's selection. Drop-down menus save time because the entire data field item does not have to be typed in the data field. They improve consistency because everyone enters data the same way. For example, the state of Georgia is selected from the drop-down box consistently as Georgia, rather than being entered by some users as GA and others as Georgia. The checkbox is a type of data field that displays a comprehensive list of approved answers for the data element. A radio button is a type of data field that also identifies a comprehensive list of choices, much like the checkbox. The difference is that the user can only choose one of the options. A numeric field allows for the entry of numbers. It can control the format, such as a decimal point and currency. The values in a numeric field must be able to be added and subtracted, as with age, weight, and so forth. Dates, even though they are entered as numbers, would not be considered numeric because they are not added, subtracted, or otherwise mathematically manipulated. A date field allows for the entry of valid dates. Valid does not mean that the date is correct, but rather means that an invalid date cannot be entered. For example, February 30th. A time field allows for the entry of valid times. It would prevent 26 hours in a day or 70 minutes in an hour. Auto numbering means that the information system assigns a number in a numeric order. This type of field is used for the health record number and the patient account number. Template-based data entry is a cross between free text and structured data entry. It assists the healthcare provider by providing direction in what is to be documented. Speech recognition, which may also be known as voice recognition, is technology that translates speech to text. The text must be edited, as speech recognition software may misunderstand words and therefore translate speech into text incorrectly. There are two strategies to editing documents created by speech recognition. Front-end speech recognition, FESR, occurs when the physician or the dictator is the editor of the document that is dictated. The advantage to FESR is that the authenticated document is available in the health record quickly. Back-end speech recognition, BESR, is specific use of speech recognition in which the physician dictates in the traditional manner and an editor listens to the audio and reviews the document created. The document is sent to the dictating physician for approval following the editing process. The advantage of BESR is that the physician is not required to take the time to perform the editing. Natural language processing is the technology that converts human language, structured or unstructured, into data that can be translated, then manipulated by computer systems. It is sophisticated enough to identify keywords needed to perform specific tasks, such as computer-assisted coding. This technology basically teaches the meaning of a word or phrase to a software application after several uses. Data integrity is the extent to which healthcare data are complete, accurate, consistent, and timely. Data quality is the reliability and effectiveness of data for its intended uses in operations, decision-making, and planning. Data quality focuses on using the data, whereas data integrity is about the data itself. A required field is a preset field in which data must be entered before the information system will allow the user to proceed. The healthcare facility must weigh the benefits and disadvantages of required fields to determine what essential information is needed, because the user can get frustrated by an excessive number of required fields. An edit check is a standard feature in many applications' data entry and data collection software packages. Edit checks are pre-programmed definitions of each data field set up within the application. For example, an edit message would prevent a user from entering a body temperature of 254 degrees. This edit message is sometimes called a flag because it signals that the user needs to verify the data being entered. Edit checks can check for illogical data, such as when a patient's gender does not match patient gender-specific procedure documented. For example, a message flag would appear on the screen indicating that a hysterectomy cannot be performed on a male patient. Edits can also make sure that the type of data entered and its format is valid for that data element. For example, the date field. Data quality management is defined as the business processes that ensure the integrity of an organization's data during collection, application, which includes aggregation, warehousing, and analysis. Collection and data quality management refers to the way that data elements are gathered. Application is the reason for collecting the data. Warehousing involves the methods used to store the data. Analysis entails converting data into information. Data accessibility means that data items are easily obtainable by authorized users. Data can be accurate and relevant, but if it is not accessible to the healthcare providers when needed, then it is of no use. Data accuracy means that the data are free of identifiable errors. Quantitative and qualitative analysis are two methods used to help prevent inaccurate data from occurring frequently within a health record. Quantitative analysis is a review of the health record to determine its completeness and accuracy. It is a method to detect whether elements of the patient's health record are missing. In quantitative analysis, the reviewer determines whether or not the reports are present or absent from the health record. Qualitative analysis is a review of the health record to ensure that standards are met and to determine the adequacy of entries documenting the quality of care. The reviewer would also look at issues such as legibility, whether only approved abbreviations are used, and if all required components are in the discharge summary or other document. Inaccurate data are useless, expensive, and can be harmful to patients. Data form much of the body of knowledge used by medical professionals. These decisions affect patient lives, policies on healthcare reform, and other major issues regarding health. Resources are allocated at local, state, and national levels based on data collected and entrusted to be accurate. Accurate data are needed to evaluate patient outcomes and quality of life. Data comprehensiveness means that the patient's health record must be complete, meaning that all required data are included. Many governmental and accreditation organizations and medical staffs have standards that mandate complete health records. If during a qualitative review of a record there appears to be documentation that does not reflect best practice, if notes appear to have a lapse in time covered, or if something does not look right, the HIM technician will submit the health record for review by a physician advisor, or PA. The PA is hired by the healthcare facility to act as a liaison between the HIM or others and the patient's physician. Typically, several physicians serve as PAs on an annual basis and are usually from diverse backgrounds such as pathology, surgery, medicine, and other disciplines, so that the reviews can be a true peer review. Peer review is a review by like professionals or peers established according to an organization's medical staff bylaws, organizational policy and procedure, or the requirements of state law. The peer review system allows medical professionals to candidly critique and criticize the work of their colleagues without fear of reprisal, as the feedback comes from the committee and not a specific individual. Data consistency ensures that like data are the same on each document or computer screen. Data currency ensures that the data are up to date. Data definition is the specific meaning of a healthcare related data element. Defining each data element provides the foundation that allows everyone to interpret and collect the data in the same way. Data granularity describes the level of detail at which the attributes and values of healthcare data are defined. The required level of detail depends on the circumstances of the patient's care. Data precision ensures that there is justification for the need to collect the data, such as for patient care, data analysis, billing, and other operational tasks. In order to be useful, the data must be defined for precise understanding. Meanings can vary by department, facility, or another factor, supporting the need for a standard definition to avoid confusion. Data relevancy is the extent to which healthcare related data are useful for the purposes for which they were collected. Data timeliness means that the data should be recorded in an appropriate period of time after the event and should be available to the user when needed. The healthcare facility determines the appropriate period of time for each data element based on accreditation, state licensure, and other requirements. Efforts should be made to prevent data integrity issues in order to have the best data available for decision making. Failure to do so can result in poor quality patient care and bad business decisions. These efforts include data cleansing, data mapping, and a number of documentation integrity issues. Data cleansing is the process of checking internal consistency and duplication, as well as identifying outliers and missing data. In other words, data cleansing means looking for errors or problems with the data, such as duplicate patients. There may be outliers, which is an extreme statistical value that falls outside the normal range. Another consideration when performing data cleansing is missing data. Data mapping allows for connections between two systems. The best example is the ICD 9th revision and the ICD 10th revision. They both have similar concepts but are not identical. A link has been established between the two systems. Documentation integrity errors include patient identification, authorship, dictation errors without editing, copying and pasting, and amendments to the health record. The data contained in the health record must be amended when changes are necessary, such as correcting mistakes, attaching addendums, making late entries, and replacing a draft, which is an unsigned copy of a document, with a final signed copy. Once a health record entry is signed, the document should be locked to prevent further alterations. The system should also lock the entire record from edits at a predetermined point, such as 30 days after discharge. There should also be policies in place regarding who has the ability to amend. The erroneous information should not be completely deleted. Rather, there should be a way to identify that the health record was altered. The best practice is to create a second version of the document. Version control is necessary to manage the various documents. Version control in healthcare is the process whereby a healthcare facility ensures that only the most current version of a patient's health record is available for viewing, updating, and so forth. Data quality measure is a mechanism to assign a quantitative figure to quality of care by comparison to a criteria. Quality measurements typically focus on structures or processes of care that have a demonstrated relationship to positive health outcomes. These are used to compare actual patient information to a standard created by an accreditation organization, government agency, or other group to determine the quality of care provided. The data can be aggregated, meaning compiled, and be used to compare healthcare facilities against state or national scores.